readers, let's talk about some Korean historical mystery. Hello everyone, this is Gabby, and today we are reviewing The Red Palace by Jen Her. So I'm so excited. This book has been one of my most anticipated releases, period. I've been so hyped because The Red Palace by Jane Her is a historical Korean thriller slash murder mystery, like a detective story, and it just sounds like all things I love bundled up into one and given to me on a silver platter. So I was like, I need to read this book as soon as possible, and I pretty much read it in 2 days slash kind of 1 day, really. It was amazing. So I'm here for you with a review. Just a reminder, this is part of a series where you can vote for books I review every single month. So if you're interested in reviews, subscribe, follow me, and join me on this beautiful journey. So The Red Palace is set in 1700s Joseon, or Korea, and we follow a palace nurse Hyun as there is a murder that occurs, a massacre. 4 nurses get murdered, and our main character's mentor gets accused of doing it, which is why the main character gets involved in the investigation to find out what really happened so that her mentor doesn't get murdered for murder. Like I said, there's a lot to appeal to me about this book. I really love Korean dramas. I really love thrillers. This was even had a little bit of a love story. Especially love historical dramas as well. So I just thought, this book was made for me, so I gotta check it out. So let's get into the review. Firstly, let's talk about writing. So there was actually a lot of weird choices I thought in the beginning. I just felt like some of the word choice was ill-fitting, or it just felt a bit unnatural, but I actually think that was on purpose and I really like it. It kind of mimicked how the cadence of Korean language, the type of words they would use especially in 1700s Korea, and that kind of replicated that feeling of it being set a long time ago in a culture other than Western culture, and I really liked it. It kind of reminded me of when I was reading Memory Police, which is a Japanese book, and then A Hero Born, which is a Chinese book, and both of them also similarly took this approach where some of the words, maybe if you were speaking English or this was an American book or something, you would not have chosen that word because it feels overly formal. But I think it did give a lot of indication of the formality of the language, and it really translated well, and I actually really enjoyed that. So I really enjoyed the aspect of it, as well as the fact that Korean words were used throughout and not always explained, but you could really easily gather from the context of the story what it means, even if you necessarily don't know. Now see, I don't know, because for me, I studied Korean for a bit. I watched so many Korean shows, listened to a lot of Korean music, so I know what agashi, ajuma, that kind of word, like what that wording mean. I know what it means when they add she or ya to the end of the word to like indicate formality and sonority. And I know that in past, sometimes I would say a book based in a different culture didn't at all make any effort to explain it, so that I didn't usually know what it means. And although that's a choice, sometimes it made it a bit harder to connect. And in this one, it didn't feel like any kind of obstacle, but that's because I knew the words, so maybe I'm not being fair. But I did feel like the author did a good job, like I said, of leaving context clues so that you understand what's happening even without understanding the words. Whereas sometimes I think if I read, I don't know, Witches Steeped in Gold, I feel like there was no glossary and the words were crucial to understanding what's happening, and I didn't understand what was happening because it wasn't laid out for me in the context, or at least I didn't pick up on it. But with this book, again, I didn't have any issue, but that could be because I already knew what the words meant. So it's similar like when I was reading Midnight Girls, which is based on Polish mythology. I understand Polish words, so it was easy to understand. So I don't know, take it with a grain of salt. Maybe I'm curious to hear what you think about this kind of thing. Like, do you need a glossary? Are you okay with a glossary? Let me know. But I did think that the writing really lent itself to creating a really rich atmosphere. It did feel very noir. So this was I wrote it down as a part on the plot, but it kind of fits here as well. It felt like a noir crime show, like an old murder mystery. And I don't know what it was. I just felt like it was always raining and it was always very like atmospheric. And I don't know, the atmosphere was just really good for a crime show, but also it was an amazing atmosphere in the sense that you really got a feel for the palace, what it was like to be in the palace. I mean, if you looked wrong at the royal, you could die. It's very prim and proper, and so many rules that you don't necessarily understand, because obviously not only are you or me in this case not Korean, but also don't live in Joseon 1700s Korea, right? So I think the author did a very, very good job of conveying all of those nuances and really making the world feel rich and authentic and very, very interesting. So I thought that was done brilliantly. Really, really good job. And so now let's move on to the plot. Like I said, it was a thriller murder mystery, and I really felt like the vibes were there. It was all really interesting. The mystery itself was very, very interesting. You could follow it along. It all made sense, but it also had this aura of danger and unsureness because there were assassins and the main character could get hurt. And I thought that was all executed very, very well. And I feel like the pacing of it was really, really good. Kept me like turning those pages. I could not get enough, and I really, really wanted to know what was up. Like I said, I read it very quickly. I didn't even need to read it that quickly for this review. I just couldn't put it down, and I had such a good time. And I don't know what it was about the writing, but it made it so easy to consume the story. I felt like the book was extremely short. How many pages does it have? I mean, it has 352 pages. It's not like it's a novella or anything, but it just felt so quick, and you just into it, and that quick. It was so sharp. I loved it. And what's even cooler is that this is all based on real history, and real history was incorporated, and it's a real prince. The prince in the story, there is a prince. He was a real person, and what he did was real, and some of it was fictionalized a little bit, but at the same time a lot of it was based on real story, which was really, really cool. And there was an author's note at the end to kind of give that context, which I really, really enjoyed. So yeah, overall I would say the plot was amazing. I really want this to be a buddy cop series. I want this to be a series. I want every book, and it's Hyun and Woojin just together solving crimes. Each book is a different crime, you know. I don't even need relationship drama. I just want them to be together and be happy and solve different crimes. Absolutely love this. I just love the feeling of mystery it had, but like mystery with a twist, thriller with a twist. You know, that's always really fun because there's so many thrillers and murder mysteries. So when they can give you something new, I think that's like real kudos and done very well. So I really, really, really enjoyed the aspect of the book, and it was just done so well. So let's move on to characters. So Hyun is the main character. Like I said, she's a palace nurse and gets as the civilian type of person gets drafted into this investigation, and I really, really, really like her. Not only did she make sense, feel like a real person, at times I was like, she's really, really bad at this, because she would just tell everyone anything, couldn't keep her mouth shut, just kept being like, oh, that's a secret I was supposed to tell. Where she's a pretty high stakes situation. You should probably watch what you're saying. But I kind of love that because it felt authentic. Like none of us are like evil masterminds, you know what I mean? So it felt really fun. Really, really loved her, and I like how she was like a strong female protagonist, but it was her mind, her wit, her quick thinking that saved her, rather than her physical strength or ability to fight or anything like that. That's not what she was about, but I still felt like she was very strong and very capable, and I really, really love that aspect of her. And Woojin is the police detective that works with Hyun on this case, and I really liked him. He's so precious. I want to give him a hug. He's just so cool. I really, really liked him. And if you can't tell, there is a slow burn romance, although like it says slow burn, the author says slow burn, but for me, like if it takes one book, it's not slow burn. But this is a standalone, so at the same time it kind of has to take one book. But you know, when it's a series, if it doesn't take at least 2 to 3 books, it's not a slow burn. But yeah, so there is a slow burn romance, and I really, really love the romance. I think it was done so well. They were both so respectful of each other, so mindful, but also had to navigate the society they're in, and which is really, really fun. I really liked how that was done and touched upon and really explained to the reader on why this is a big deal, that kind of thing. It gave me all those beautiful, beautiful stomach cramps you want when reading a romance. So for me, it beautiful pass, beautiful. Last section is themes, and definitely familial duty and family and like that kind of thing was really big, especially because family looked different back then. Familial roles were completely different, so that's very, very interesting to see, and I liked how that was handled and really explored. And like standing out for yourself and becoming your own person was a very big theme, and also obviously power dynamics. There was a very, very clearly, you know, like upper class, lower class commoners back then, so I really liked how all of that was explored. And a really fun aspect of the book that something resonated with me was kind of letting go of dreams that you didn't create for yourself and that were coming from a bad place, and how to let go of that and how to be okay. And I thought that would resonate with a lot of people, and I really, really love that. Why do you want something? What's your motivation, and is that the right motivation? So that was really, really cool theme. If you read the book, I'm curious to hear what you thought about it, but for me that was probably my favorite one out of the ones discussed. But I always forget to do this, but I actually do want to pick out a favorite quote and share it with you. I only highlighted one thing. I highlighted a passage that I really liked. It's the greatest compliment. I dislike being around people for too long, but when I am with you, I never feel the need to be someone I am not. So yeah, I really like that one. It's a longer quote, but I don't want to spoil it for you. Okay, well, that's it for the sections. Like you might have guessed, I really love this book. I gave it 5 stars. I want this to be a whole buddy cop series. I need to read it. I want Jane Eyre to read more, to write more historical thrillers. I know she has 2 other books that are already out, so I'm definitely going back and reading those, and I will definitely keep an eye out for her new works whenever that comes out. But I would highly, highly recommend The Red Palace. I was so excited about it, and it lived up to the expectations. So, you know, that is like the greatest feeling for us book nerds, I think. So yeah, let me know in the comments, have you read it? What did you think about it? I am so interested, would love to know. You know, I only read books so I can talk to you guys, so let's discuss. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you comment, like, and subscribe, I really, 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 really appreciate it. It really helps me out. But that's it from me, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!